The 411 on KHOU 11 News.
Right now on the 411, caught on camera, a bar worker attacked in the museum district. How a simple request led to this brutal assault. Stimulus checks in limbo after President Trump says he may not sign the relief package. His new demands to lawmakers. Plus, help wanted. Houston's annual Christmas Eve super feast is tomorrow. How you can make sure thousands are able to have a hot meal and a gift for the holidays. Thanks for joining us for the 411. I'm Rekha Mutteraj. Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner is calling for the arrest of a man accused of attacking a museum district bar worker after the employee asked the man to put on a mask. Police say they are looking for that man now, and our Matt Doherty has the story.
Grand Prize bar employee Josh Vaughn says there's never been a customer who'd become violent because he was asked to wear a mask. That was true until Monday. Vaughn says he asked the patron, who he believes had been to the Grand Prize bar in the past, to put on a mask 3 different times. The third time, he says the man took a glass, then smashed it on his head, causing a serious gash.
Usually, they'll either just put the mask on and, deal with it, or they'll leave. But we've never had anyone, attack like that.
Vaughn says he had to get several stitches. Now, the bar owners and Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner are requesting the man be identified and arrested. After the bar posted surveillance camera video and photos to its social media pages, web sleuths have been trying to identify the suspect. Houston police say they've been investigating the assault, but would not say if they've seen the video or if the person in the video is one of their suspects. For that reason, we're not showing the man's face, but police say they are definitely investigating this case. Matt Doherty, KHOU 11 News.
We will have much more on this assault coming up at 6 o'clock. In the meantime, you can read up more on it at KHOU.com. Breaking right now, President Trump vetoed the defense spending bill. Today marked the deadline to veto the National Defense Authorization Act before it became law. The bill would have included pay raises for troops, among other things. The president says he vetoed it because it didn't include the provisions he wanted. And the newly passed COVID-19 relief package may be in jeopardy. President Trump is suggesting he may not sign the bipartisan bill unless the stimulus checks are at least $2,000 instead of $600. The $900 billion package would also provide unemployment benefits to Americans in need. It was mostly Republicans who opposed higher stimulus payments. In a letter today, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said she wants to bring a standalone bill to increase the payments, but it requires Republican leadership to agree. President Trump calls the current relief bill a disgrace.
I am asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple.
The president went on to say if Congress doesn't send him a suitable bill, the next administration will have to deliver a COVID-19 relief package. Today, President-elect Joe Biden said Trump is creating disruption that's setting the stage for an anxious 4 weeks. The 42nd annual Christmas Eve Super Feast is happening tomorrow, and this year the need is so great. Sponsors are expecting to feed thousands more than last year. Janelle Bluda has more on what you need to know.
For the first time in 42 years, the annual Christmas Eve Super Feast will look and feel very different.
Everything will be grab and go.
Volunteers are hard at work getting ready today, but instead of the usual sit-down dinner, Citywide Club says anyone who's hungry should walk or drive up only. If you're walking, go to the front of GRB and the distribution will be along Avenida de las Americas. But if you're driving, head to the back and enter a Chartres and Walker to get in line. Stay in your car and follow these signs.
Whether you walk up or drive up, you'll have the same opportunities.
Those opportunities include a hot meal served to go,
brown sugar roasted chicken, macaroni and cheese and green beans and dessert and bread, the whole works.
Toys for kids and even food baskets.
Hopefully that will last 3 to 7 days.
And this year it's needed more than ever.
I don't know of a single person who has not been affected in one way or another by the pandemic.
Organizers are expecting to feed more than 25,000 people tomorrow, up from 20,000 the year before.
Many of the people that would normally be here to volunteer or to donate or sponsor are in the lines because they've lost employment or lost their homes.
But if you want to offer help instead of receive it, the organization's citywide club is still taking volunteers. Just go to their website.
And they can register right there and come on down and help us.
In Houston, Janelle Blue to KHOU 11 News.
2 days before Christmas, Harris County Judge Selena Hidalgo and Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner joined forces to ask people to please cancel their holiday gatherings and parties. They say the pandemic is still raging and getting worse in the Houston area despite a vaccine rollout. ICU hospitalizations continue to climb in our area, and positivity rates and case counts are still rising as well.
All across Texas, communities are entering danger territory. The current situation where our medical center, the largest in the world, is routinely crossing its base capacity means that procedures are postponed, that healthcare workers are at risk of burnout, that we can't sustain a surge in infections beyond where we are right now, and that we're living at the very, very edge.
Turner and Hidalgo also discussed the possibility of a curfew in our area. They have not enacted that yet, but say it is a last resort. They will consider if the COVID data gets worse in the coming weeks. We're going to have more from both of them coming up at 5 and 6. All right, let's check in now with traffic. Many people heading to their Christmas destinations. This is a live look at the Hardy Toll Road near Bush Airport. You know, more than 84.5 million Americans are expected to travel for the holidays from now through January 3rd. That's according to AAA. All right, David, travelers can expect a little rain in the forecast this evening, huh?
A few of us have had rain. A couple of us have actually had a thunderstorm today, but most of us have just been very warm and summer-like. High temps today busted the 80-degree mark. Incredible. And it won't last. Take a look at the map. We're still 79 here in Houston, but it's 50s, 40s, and 30s in North Texas. And there's the cold front in Central Texas just about to reach Austin. That cold front's going to blow through here this evening, and it's going to change things from summer to winter in a hurry. Here's the radar. Scattered showers, mostly mist, but a few spots getting hit now near Liberty and also down in Matagorda County. I think rain showers will actually expand a little bit more this evening between now and 7 o'clock as the front approaches. The front goes through downtown around 8 o'clock, so by 9, we're getting windy and it's much cooler in the 60s. We'll drop into the 50s by 11 o'clock. That windy I've written in there, there's a wind advisory in effect tonight. It may gust to 35 or 40 tonight out of the north. It's about to get cold, gang. We'll go over it all, what it means for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in just a few minutes, Reka.
Your top 4 at 4. A wrong-way driver and her passenger were both killed when they crashed head-on into another car. This happened late last night along the newly opened Highway 288 Express Tollway. Police say the wrong-way driver's car flipped after the impact, and both the driver and her passenger died at the scene. The driver of the car who was hit was taken to the hospital with a broken leg. Number 2, a mother and 11 children are without a home after a massive fire that happened early this morning. This happened on Pinewood Trace Lane near Jersey Village. Firefighters say when they got there, heavy flames were shooting from the garage. The fire then spread to the roof. No one was hurt, but the family has been displaced. Red Cross is assisting them. Number 3, Texas EquiSearch has suspended its search for a Houston area college student. Jason Landry disappeared on December 13th when he left Texas State University to come home to Missouri City. Police say they found his car, which had been involved in a crash, in a remote area in Luling, but he was nowhere in sight. EquiSearch says it called off the search until more information on his disappearance is available. At number 4, police are investigating what they say appears to be a murder-suicide on Houston's west side. It happened early this morning on Westerland Drive off Westheimer. Investigators say witnesses reported hearing screaming and no, no, no shortly before the shooting. Neighbors came outside to find a man and woman inside a Ford Mustang, both with gunshot wounds to their heads. Police say the man and woman had been in a dating relationship on and off for about a year. If you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. That phone number is 1-800-799-SAFE. You can also chat online at thehotline.org. President-elect Joe Biden continues to reveal his cabinet picks as he transitions to the White House. Today, he formally introduced Connecticut's Education Commissioner Miguel Cardona as his nominee for Education Secretary. Cardona is the third Latino tapped to serve in the Biden administration. Biden says his cabinet is the most diverse in history, having the most people of color, the most women, and the first openly gay member, saying it reflects what America looks like. Biden says one of his administration's top goals will be to safely reopen all schools.
Reopening schools safely will be a national priority for the Biden-Harris administration.
There are no shortages of challenges ahead. No shortage of problems for us to solve.
Cardona began his career as an elementary school teacher. Our Houston Rockets tip off their season tonight, but there's a lot of drama surrounding the game, why several players could miss the home opener. Many of us will be indulging in some good food and drinks over the Christmas holidays, but hey, don't overdo it. How could lead to a condition known as holiday heart. And there's no better way to get on Santa's good side than with some good old bribery. The best cookies to leave him on Christmas Eve. And as we go to break, here's a look at your drive times if you're headed to Katy.
Houston, a city we're all proud to call home. It's the place we choose to raise our families and build our lives in. To say 2020 has tested us, that is an understatement. So let's not lose sight of what we're truly grateful for. Let's think about what brings us together instead of what tears us apart. Let's continue to put our best foot forward. Let's continue to be great examples. Let's continue to stand for Houston.
Express Flooring for fast, free in-home shopping. We bring the flooring to your door.
The holidays are not known for healthy living. Between the drinking and eating, many of us pack on the pounds. And it turns out there's an actual medical condition linked to all this Christmas overindulgence. Let's connect the dots. It's called holiday heart syndrome, and it describes all the people who show up at hospitals at this time of year complaining of an irregular heartbeat. But that's not the only symptom. Patients also complain of lightheadedness, shortness of breath, fatigue, and even chest pain. And here's the scary part. It often hits healthy people with no existing heart issues. Doctors say the biggest culprit in causing holiday heart is alcohol, which can short-circuit the heart's electrical system. And it can be especially bad when combined with stress and lack of sleep. Experts recommend taking it easy when it comes to partying. Remember to get some sleep and don't throw your exercise routine out the window, because a healthy heart is the best gift of all.
All good tips. Well, you know, there's no better way to get on Santa's nice list than by leaving him some milk and cookies. But what are the best Christmas cookies to give him? According to a study from YouGov, most of us are traditionalists. We ranked chocolate chip as the best. Sugar cookies came in second, followed by fudge, double chocolate, and shortbread. And the ones you probably don't want to leave for the big man are Italian anise cookies, which were at the very bottom of the list, chai, sugar, and ground spice. But Santa seems like a pretty friendly guy, so I'm sure he'll love anything you set out for him. All right, check this out. A couple of Nintendo-loving parents in Dallas giving their typical Christmas decorations the boot this year, instead opting to decorate their house like Nintendo. They spent about a month putting together the giant Nintendo game and configuring new routines since it covers the entire front of their home.
This year has been a crazy year for us as a family. For one, I have my husband is a first responder, so having somebody that was in a stressful position all year, it was emotionally rough, and so this provided it's a fun artistic outlet, art therapy, and something take your mind off the craziness outside the doors.
It looks pretty great. The family already looking forward to doing this again next Christmas. Our Houston Rockets kick off their season tonight at Toyota Center, and they'll take on the Oklahoma City Thunder at 7 p.m. CBS Sports reports there's a possibility that star players John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins won't play tonight after they may have been exposed to a teammate who tested positive for COVID-19. Now, James Harden could be absent from tonight's game as the team and league investigate a video showing him partying without a mask. Harden responded to the allegations on his Instagram today, saying he was supporting a friend at her event.
Well, it's gorgeous outside, and it feels like summer tried to creep in here today. Look at this live pic from the Zaza. Beautiful, puffy cumulus clouds, moisture coming off the Gulf of Mexico. A few of us have had an isolated shower. A couple of us have actually had an isolated thunderstorm. All of this is about to change. This is happening ahead of a strong cold front that will come in this evening. Now, it's 77 outside right now. 77, more than 10 degrees above normal, and a high temperature today actually hit 80 degrees, so it really has felt like a summer day. This is not unusual to get a big warm up ahead of a strong cold front in winter this time of the year in Houston, Texas. And you can see the cold front just about to reach Austin. They're still in the 70s there, but it's 50s in Dallas, and then it's 40s, and it's dropped into the 30s up there in Amarillo. And we will drop into the 30s tonight. This is a serious cold front. We're still on the warm side, the humid side, and we're getting scattered showers. And we've had a couple of isolated thunderstorms. East Harris County into Chambers County and Liberty County. Mont Bellevue had a thunderstorm earlier. Baytown, you had a little shower go through earlier. At the moment, there's nothing severe out here, but this is going to go on for another hour or two until this front comes in. As it pushes toward downtown, which will be around 8 o'clock or so, that'll be our best chance for rain in Harris County. You can see back behind the front dropping into the 60s and 50s by 8 o'clock. So it's warm where you are right now. That will be changing pretty quickly this evening. And by 10 o'clock, that cold front's pushed off the beaches of Galveston, and everybody's dropping into the 50s. The north wind behind this front tonight will gust 30, 35 miles an hour and drop temperatures into the 30s for all inland areas tonight. I think we're above freezing, but I mean 35 in College Station and Huntsville. It's going to be cold and windy Christmas Eve morning. And then Christmas Eve during the day, high temp will struggle to make 50. We're going to spend most of the day tomorrow in the 30s and 40s. And that wind advisory is in effect for tonight. Again, winds gusting 15 to 35 inland areas. It does include Liberty, Polk and San Jacinto County. I don't know why they're not showing up, but you guys are included here. On the coast, the north wind may gust to 40, especially just in those nearshore waters. This is all because that cold air up in Canada has pushed south, and it's even pushed into the northern half of Texas now. See it connected there? And that will push through tonight and bring in these big changes. As for Christmas, no big changes in that forecast. 34 in the morning, 58 in the afternoon, chilly and cold. There is one more little twist I wanted to mention. Because temps are going to drop into the mid and lower 30s on Christmas morning, we may actually have some frost, especially along and north of I-10 on Christmas morning. Here's the extended forecast. Windy and chilly tomorrow, gorgeously chilly on Christmas Day. Saturday looks good. A slight rain chance Sunday as we warm back towards 70. But boy, it's going to get windy and cold tonight. You'll need a sweater and jacket if you're heading out late.
All right, David, thank you. Okay, if you're planning to leave the cooking to someone else this Christmas, you've got some options. We've got a list of the restaurants that will be open.
If you're staying socially distant from your family this year, or you just don't want to do any cooking, there are plenty of restaurants open on Christmas Day. I'm Tiffany Craig. Just about everyone lives near an Applebee's, right? They'll be open on the 25th. So will Black Bear Diners and Burger King locations with reduced hours. If you want to go downtown, you can always stop in at China Garden for some dumplings. Or maybe you're craving a helping of comfort food. The Cleburne Cafeteria on Bissonnette is open. So is Del Frisco's Steakhouse on Westheimer. Some other chains open on Friday: Denny's, Dunkin', and IHOP. If you want Panda Express, you're in luck there too. They're open. And at the Rustic in Uptown Park, they're serving tamales and beer in the afternoon. And no, I didn't forget about a place that's tradition for some families, Waffle House. All of their locations are open. So go get some hash browns, scattered, smothered, and covered, or however you like them.
It all sounds good. The Queen of Tejano is being crowned with a much-deserved award. More on that on the 411. The Queen of Tejano getting some much-needed recognition at the 2021 Grammys. Selena Quintanilla Perez will be honored with a posthumous Lifetime Achievement Award. The award celebrates artists who've made outstanding contributions to the music industry and recognizes their lasting influence. The announcement comes just a few weeks after Netflix released Selena, the series, which follows the performer's life and legacy. You can watch the ceremony right here on KHOU 11 on January 31st.
Pinocchio, try, say something.
Babbo.
Pinocchio coming to life on the big screen. The live-action movie follows the puppet-turned-real boy as he goes from one adventure to another. It hits U.S. theaters on Christmas Day. The comfort of a good meal is all some might have to celebrate this holiday. How a Houston nonprofit is delivering Christmas wishes. And there's been a big focus on donating convalescent plasma for COVID-19 treatment. But does that mean regular plasma donations are down? We verify on the 411.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Houston Behavioral Healthcare Hospital.
The 411 on KHOU 11 News.
Welcome back to the 411. If you're headed out this evening, you might want to grab an umbrella. Rain is moving across our area as people head to their Christmas destinations. So Dave, how long will these showers stick around?
A couple of more hours, Reka. But once they exit around 9-10 o'clock, the wind and the cold are going to kick in behind a strong cold front. No kidding, this is a doozy that's coming through tonight. You see the scattered showers across the Houston area, nothing too big and bad, but there are a few wet spots. And it's all because of a cold front that's squeezing out the moisture that's been coming on shore today. You felt that gusty south wind tied to low pressure up here near Chicago. Look at the snow sweeping down the plain across Kansas and Nebraska right now. That is a cold night for them tonight. And for us, it's a wind advisory that we're most concerned about. The wind may gust to 30 and 35 tonight out of the north as the front comes through. That may cause some isolated power issues this evening, so we'll be watching out for that. And then tomorrow, it's cold and windy in the morning in the mid to upper 30s. We'll struggle to make the 50s tomorrow with a cold, windy Christmas Eve. Santa likes that. We'll talk about Christmas Day coming up in a little bit, Reka.
All right, Dave, thank you. Despite warnings from health officials, tens of millions of families are still planning to travel for the holidays. And while fewer people are traveling by air, planes are expected to be full. Today, the Department of Health announced a new deal with Pfizer to secure another 100 million doses of its COVID vaccine. In the meantime, the Austin Department of Public Health announced they are now in stage 5 of the COVID-19 risk-based guidelines. That means everyone should avoid holiday gatherings with anyone they don't live with. Our verified team looking into whether plasma donations are down. Now, we've heard a lot about the need for convalescent plasma this year due to COVID, but the need for regular plasma is just as vital. Here's Jason Puckett.
We're talking about plasma donations today. Now, there have been a lot of convalescent plasma donations this year, which is COVID recovered patients donating their plasma to be used as treatment for COVID-19. But the push for convalescent plasma may have actually drawn the focus away from other plasma donations. Our verified question today, are regular plasma donations down this year? To find out, we spoke with Amy Afontis, the president and CEO of the Plasma Protein Therapeutics Association, or PPTA. So according to the PPTA, yes, regular plasma donations are down this year and the supply is critical.
This is really unprecedented in facing a critical issue with raw material. And that raw material is human plasma.
Afontis explained that convalescent plasma is used to treat COVID patients, but regular or source plasma donations are used for dozens of other conditions like immune deficiencies, bleeding disorders, and some neurological conditions.
So one patient relies on 130 donations a year. If you have primary immune deficiency, if you have alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, and you rely on a plasma-derived therapy, you need 900 donations a year. So you can see these are very resource-intense therapies, relying on one plasma donation at a time.
According to Afontis, the supply of plasma is also suffering because it takes 7 to 12 months to process donations and turn them into therapies.
You can imagine in the patient community the anxiety they're feeling, recognizing that there's been declines in plasma donation and that there is this 7 to 12 month lag. So there is a concern about the ability to meet patient clinical need.
So bottom line, yes, regular or source plasma donations are down so far this year. That's verified. The solution? More donations. Plasma centers are up and running and they urge you to consider donating if you're able. You can find more resources for how to donate plasma on our website or at donatingplasma.org. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
See something you want us to look into? Just send an email to verify@khou.com. Now for your top 4 at 4:30. Number 1, the number of people applying for jobless aid fell slightly last week, but still remained high as the pandemic continues to take a toll on the economy. Around 803,000 people applied for unemployment benefits last week, and another 397,000 applied for Pandemic Unemployment Assistant, a federal program for self-employed and gig workers. Number 2, a North Texas man is suing 2 police officers in the Keller Police Department following his arrest in August. Marco Puente pulled up to a neighborhood as his 22-year-old son Dylan was being arrested for a traffic violation. But as Puente was recording his son's arrest on his cell phone from a sidewalk across the street, body camera video shows officers pepper spraying and arresting him. Puente says the police chief called him after the incident, saying his officers' actions were in the wrong. 3, Jerry Harris, the star of the Netflix docuseries Cheer, pleaded not guilty to several felony charges of sexual misconduct. The 21-year-old has been behind bars since he was arrested in September for allegedly producing child porn. Harris facing a minimum sentence of 15 years if convicted for each of the 4 sexual exploitation charges and a minimum of 10 years for the enticement charge. Number 4, a Georgia college student's jail sentence for violating COVID-19 restrictions in the Cayman Islands is cut in half. 18-year-old Skylar Mack was arrested on November 29th. She was supposed to wear a monitoring bracelet and quarantine for 14 days upon arrival, but prosecutors say she removed the tracking device to attend her boyfriend's jet ski competition. Mack was originally sentenced to 4 months in prison. Her family hopes the U.S. government will step in. Well, you know the saying, teamwork makes the dream work. Well, from packaging 5,000 meals to passing them out to neighbors in need, a nonprofit is proving we really are better together. Melissa Correa has more on how they are standing for Houston from the 3rd Ward.
In the middle of a pandemic, Chef Chris Williams has figured out a way to make people feel special. Williams runs Lucille's restaurant. Earlier this year, we shared that the chef launched Lucille's 1913, a nonprofit that's donated 120,000 meals to folks in Sunnyside, Acres Homes, and the 5th and 3rd wards.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. So I live 2 blocks away from here. My restaurant is 6 blocks away from here. 3rd Ward's been a hub, cultural hub for us from the beginning. The only reason why we're at a point right now where we could sustain these efforts for the communities because of the neighborhood of 3rd Ward. So to do a drop like this, we wanted to go home first.
30 chefs just spent 2 days cooking 5,000 holiday meals for 1,000 families. People who came to Emancipation Park by cab or on foot, like Jimmy Lee McKinney.
I love it to death. That's what we need in the community.
People surprised with $100 H-E-B gift cards.
I appreciate them giving back to the community.
People like Juan Cabrera, who won't see extended family this Christmas.
God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
What we're trying to do is take some of that burden off them, providing them with familiar meals, delicious meals, nutritious meals every day.
Especially during the holidays. Standing for Houston, Melissa Correa, back to you.
This just into the newsroom. The NBA has postponed the Rockets game tonight against Oklahoma City. Now, according to the NBA, 3 Rockets players have tested positive for COVID, and 4 other players now have to quarantine. Also, James Harden can't play tonight after violating the league's health and safety protocols. The league saying the Rockets didn't have the required amount of players available. It's a real-life Christmas miracle. A complete stranger saving a 10-month-old's life. How he came to the rescue when the child needed it the most. And scientists are studying more ways to treat COVID-19, and breast milk could be the next answer.
Tucked in a shopping center near Memorial City Mall.
Well, it's a family business.
A fitting name for Syed Ali's restaurant.
I'm making the bread myself, washing dishes, everything.
And anything to keep his doors open, his staff paid, and his neighbors fed.
It says, if you don't have any money, don't worry about it. Come inside if you're hungry.
Matthew Duval posted on Nextdoor.
It doesn't hurt to make a meal. Believe me, it doesn't take away anything from you. It gives you more.
In today's Health in Focus, a California family is celebrating the greatest gift they can imagine, a healthy baby boy. But things might have turned out very differently had it not been for the incredible, selfless act of a stranger. Chris Martinez has their story.
Look at him, so cute.
It's not every day you get to meet a real-life guardian angel.
There's no words that will describe how thankful we are to you, Michael. You saved our son's life.
It's my honor.
This is the first time Chad and Eileen Cooper are coming face-to-face with Michael Speck, who donated part of his liver so 10-month-old Jacob could live.
Your son's born with a issue, and then somebody from across the country you've never met shows up to save his life.
Jacob was born with biliary atresia, a rare disease of the liver and bile ducts that can be deadly.
He was getting progressively sicker. He was hospitalized with infection prior to transplant. He was critically ill.
Dr. Yuri Jenik at Children's Hospital Los Angeles says Jacob needed a liver transplant to survive. Jacob's dad immediately volunteered to be a donor to save his son, but after undergoing testing, Chad was confronted with a diagnosis of his own.
In the CT scan and the MRI, we found a mass near your pelvis, and this needs to be seen right away.
With Chad and Eileen both unsuitable donors, doctors began the search for another live donor. They found one weeks later, nearly 2,000 miles away in Ohio. 64-year-old Michael Speck, a father and grandfather who had already donated a kidney to a minister years earlier, was now volunteering again to donate part of his liver to save a stranger.
The surgeon told me it was a little 10-month-old baby. When I found that out, I just burst out crying. Be able to donate to a child, it's a miracle.
Oh no, you're the miracle. You're the miracle, my friend.
No. Yeah. It's all worthwhile seeing you guys.
Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
That is a beautiful story. Breast milk is being studied as a potential treatment for COVID-19. Researchers collecting the milk from across the country, including from frontline workers who are vaccinated against the virus. They found out of those sampled, 95% had COVID antibodies. Researchers believe that one day it could be used as a respiratory treatment against the virus.
Can you please find a cure for COVID-19 and give it to us to save the world?
Kids across the world are writing inspiring messages to the North Pole this year as we continue to navigate the pandemic. The heartfelt wish list to Santa.
80s this afternoon turn into 30s by tomorrow morning as the bottom falls out. Strong cold front coming in this evening. I'll walk you through it after the break.
You know, Christmas wish lists look a little different this year. Instead of wondering if they've been naughty or nice, many children reflect the pain of the pandemic in their letters to Santa. CBS correspondent Danya Bacchus has the story.
Outside of the Ugly Mug Coffee House in Burbank, California, there's a big red mailbox just for letters to Santa.
I asked Santa for an LOL surprise, Bigwig, and now I'm clean.
More than 400 notes have been dropped here. And while there are traditional asks for toys and games,
I want a My Little Pony adventure.
The letters also reflect the reality of this year. Emily Nalbantian owns the Ugly Mug.
And they've requested Santa to be safe. And they reminded him to wear his mask and gloves. And they also said that they were pre-packing his cookies this year to keep him extra safe.
We did get a lot of letters this year.
The United States Postal Service received more than 24,000 letters to the North Pole through its Operation Santa program. Kim Frum says the program usually sees an uptick in letters during times of crisis. 2020 was no different. Letters like this one from Jonah.
Dear Santa, I don't want anything for Christmas.
Request a Christmas miracle.
Can you please find a cure for COVID-19 and give it to us to save the world?
And this one from Emma Jean.
Santa, I hope you, Mrs. Claus, and the elves, the reindeer, are safe from the virus.
Wants Santa and his crew to stay COVID-free. But no matter the request, the spirit of Christmas remains.
They're very selfless children out there, and that's wonderful to see as well.
And the tradition of writing letters to Santa is a reminder of the magic of the holiday season. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Burbank, California.
Dave, we're about to get a blast of cooler weather just in time for Christmas.
It's like a present opening up on Christmas morning, only this one is full of cold and wind, which is going to arrive during the evening hours. Right now it's still warm, humid, and we've got scattered showers, especially east side, Kemah Boardwalk, just on the west side of Galveston Bay, getting wet. Some of the cars in the parking lot there, a little bit of drizzle there. Temperatures have been very, very warm today. It's still 77. We had a high at 80 or above in many neighborhoods today, way above the normal, which should be in the mid-60s. But things are going to drop quickly tonight as this cold front, which is just knocking on the door of Austin and San Antonio, blows through Houston this evening, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, with rain, maybe a clap of thunder, and then much colder air behind it, 50s, 40s, 30s back there in North Texas. The radar's been a little bit busy this afternoon. A lot of us have had no rain. Some of us have had a little rain. I'm not seeing any thunder outside right now, but Liberty County, Polk San Jacinto County, you guys have the best chance of seeing a stronger clap of thunder this evening as the front pushes in. In fact, you can see the winds are beginning to shift to the north up here, west and north of Austin and Bryan College Station. That's where the leading edge of our colder air mass is, and we draw a line on that leading edge, and that's what we call the cold front. It's tied to low pressure and windy and snowy across Kansas and Nebraska and Iowa right now. The cows in Iowa tonight better have a warm place to go because it is going to get bitter cold and windy up there. It's going to get cold and windy here too. Here's the map by 8 o'clock this evening. Scattered showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms, especially south and east side of the area. Look though, by 8 o'clock we're already dropping into the 50s, Brenham College Station. That front races to and I think pushes the rain off the coast by 10 o'clock tonight, and then everybody drops into the 50s, and then the wind is really going to kick in. We've got a wind advisory overnight tonight out of the north. The wind may gust to 35, maybe near 40 on the coast, with temps in the 30s tomorrow morning, and that wind. That'll be fun. Bundle up tomorrow. We're going to spend most of the day in the 40s. 30s and 40s. We'll struggle to make 50 for a high temp by tomorrow afternoon as the wind settles down a little bit finally tomorrow afternoon and evening. But there's your wind advisory tonight. Winds gusting 15 to 35 miles an hour inland areas. And yes, Liberty, San Jacinto, Polk County, you are included in that wind advisory. I don't know why the colors there on your counties are not lighting up, but they should be. Okay, the cold air, you can see it's pushed out of Canada all the way down into central Texas, and that leading edge pushes through here this evening and overnight tonight. It will make it cold for Christmas, 34 in the morning, 58 in the afternoon. We've talked about this, a beautiful, chilly Christmas day. One little caveat, because we're dropping into the mid-30s, we may see a little bit of frost on some rooftops on Christmas morning. Maybe you'll see some reindeer footprints up there. Here's the extended cold and windy tomorrow, chilly on Christmas. Pretty good weekend. Slight rain chances return as we head into the first part of next week, Rekha.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dave. Today's moment of Zen is courtesy of some adorable penguin chicks at the Australian Aquarium. Watch as they enter and explore a winter wonderland. Hey, we have a lot to celebrate today. It's Hump Day, Christmas Eve, and most importantly, we are celebrating you. Let's get to it. Chloe Holt turning 6 years old today. Happy birthday, Chloe. Your Nana loves you so much. Creon Bledsoe celebrating his 5th birthday. So cute. We hope you have a great day. Jamila is 99 years young today. Looking good. Your family wants to wish you a very happy birthday. Coming up at 5, the latest on the COVID-19 relief package. Why President Trump is threatening not to sign the new bill and what that could mean for your stimulus checks. And how dried Christmas trees can turn a happy holiday into your worst nightmare. The news at 5 is next.